Let's go! Hello, all of my fabulous, beautiful people. Hello, Joe. Good to see you. Heck, we're talking about Eck. Fuck yeah. Hello, Shaw. Good to see you. So today, I unfortunately, over the last couple weeks, did not have time to edit. I'm not even going to lie to you. And so I thought it would be fun if I came on here and we did the Karma and Reincarnation ebook live. And then we could also discuss all of the beliefs that Eckankar has on karma and reincarnation. There are a lot of them. They very much depend on the belief of karma and reincarnation. And we are going to get into all of that, of course, after the intro.
Now, this is the golden contract that every encounter, without exception, is there to move all along spiritually on their way back home to God. Every encounter, every event, without exception, something's trying to nudge you back home to God. If you're a real hard nut to crack, to soften you up with love. That's what all this is about. This is what you're about. Love and soul being a creation of God, from God, is at heart a unit of love too.
So that was, of course, Harold Klemp in my intro of him being creepy again. Hello, Auntie. Good to see you. So this, everyone, is an Eckankar soul adventure, karma and reincarnation, solving the mystery, which is good for us because we are deep diving Eckankar. We have been now for a couple months on the channel. I have joined this cult in order to get inside access to things. They are soon going to be doing some more webinars, which I plan on attending. And so I feel like we do need to solve the mystery of Harold Klemp and his beliefs on karma and reincarnation. As always, they have a lovely quote on the cover, probably by Harold Klemp. But once again, like, they claim this whole book is written by him. They usually have a couple of co-authors come in on it, but he gets all the credit. And then whenever they quote, I don't feel like they actually tell us who's saying it. So it says, reincarnation is a principle of divine love in action. We become more godlike beings. Everything in this cult is about being more godlike and getting closer to God. So, karma and reincarnation, an ex-soul adventure. Soul adventures are spiritual experiences that touch us at the very core of our being. And then, of course, we have our friend the eagle again. Our poor friend the eagle, he just wants to get closer to God. You are soul, an eternal, unique spark of God. As soul, you have the God knowledge within you. Hallelujah, I've got the God knowledge within me. And then as always, it says stories, inspiration, spiritual exercise, explore how gaining an understanding of karma and reincarnation can help you. So this is what our understanding of karma and reincarnation, of course, through the eyes of an Eckist, can help us with. It will help us handle challenges in a better way, develop the quality of divine love, and become a more godlike being. The word Eckankar means co-worker with God, which we must tell you in every single damn book. It is the path of spiritual freedom. Ek means life force, God current, or Holy Spirit. And they call themselves Eckists. Meet Harold Klemp. Again, do we have to? I feel like we've met him enough. We're okay. But, excuse me, just for the sake of thoroughness, Harold Klemp is a spiritual teacher who can help you on your path of spiritual self-discovery. Harold Klemp is the spiritual leader of Eckankar, the Mahanta, the living Eckmaster. His role is to awaken the God knowledge and love for the divine things already in your heart. So apparently, I guess he's just like helping you see things that you already know. Harold Klemp, twisted hypnotics is worse. I rely on Queen of Spade to break it up with snark. It's like a bucket of ice water to the hypno face. Have fun at work, Joe. Heck for me means vomit. It's a I mean, yeah, that it sounds like you are vomiting. Eggmaster 9000. Yes, I like that. He does look like a giant egg too. We can't deny that. So as the inner and outer master, which again, I'm assuming that inner and outer master basically means like they believe in things happening in dream states. So I'm assuming that like as an inner master, it's dream states, I guess, while you're in your dream state. And then as an outer master, it's like while you're awake. And he gives spiritual help, if that's what you want to call it, via talks and writings in the dream state and in the spiritual worlds. There's a shortcut to the tiresome cycle of karma and reincarnation. The Mahanta, the living Eckmaster, can show those with the eyes to see and the ears to hear a better way to freedom. Again, I don't really trust him as being the Mahanta, the living Eckmaster, and him explaining my reincarnation or my karma to me. I feel like that's very unethical, but maybe that's just me. Another day in the life of soul. Okay? Why remember past lives? I don't know. I don't personally believe in past lives. But if I did, I don't know if I would want to remember them. I feel like I would miss the people in them and whatnot, but maybe that's just me. Excuse me. To begin with, we need to understand that the challenges we face today involve all sorts of past life experiences. I have a hard time believing that everything that I go through in my life right now is because I fucked it up in my past life. Once we gain awareness of these links to other lives, it's possible to handle challenges in a better way this time around. So it's like our lives are then just chances for us to live a godlike life and be closer to God. We can end a chain of karma that has hung on for centuries. So now we're bringing karma into the mix. I guess if you did something in a past life that was bad, you go through some kind of challenge in this life that will teach you that. Again, I don't like the thought that our lives are just constant tries for us to get closer to God. But anyway, apparently we can end that chain of karma. Odd as it may seem, you had a special reason for coming into this lifetime. It was to become a more godlike being. But most people do not realize this fact. There we go, guys. The meaning of life right there. And to think, there's so many people that don't know it. They just need to be an Eckist. They assume that birth is a fancy of destiny. Now, that's a weird thing to say, especially when we're talking about, I guess, rebirths a lot in this cult, and then we're talking about reincarnation. It's just strange because technically, if you are reincarnated, you would already have your destiny set out for you. And that's the thing about people that believe in God. A lot of times they also have to believe that they already have like almost like a map of their life already set out for them. And again, so you'd have to believe in that here. The polishing of soul, which I'm assuming means we're cleaning. We're having a bath, something Shani and Reverend are not aware of how to do. All the lives you have ever lived were for the polishing of soul. Thetans! Give me an e-meter or give me death. Free my soul and don't fucking charge me or it isn't free. Yeah, well, that's the whole thing about this whole cult, isn't it? Is if Harold here cared so much about saving souls, then he wouldn't have the courses that he's charging money. Just my opinion. So again, every single life that we live is just for the polishing of soul, which again, I'm assuming is cleansing the soul or working on yourself to once again get closer to God. Everything's about that. Like it or not. But if I was like, I fucking hate it. You are now at a higher and more spiritual level than in any prior incarnation. Well, I hope so. I hope we aren't regressing here in every life, damn it. So look at yourself. I guess go get a mirror, guys. Just go look at yourself. Do you like what you see? This is getting a little rude. I mean, who goes and looks in the mirror and doesn't have that self-esteem at least? Keep in mind, whatever it is, a little rude, for better or worse, it's of your own making. You are the sum of all your thoughts, feelings, and actions from this life and every lifetime in the past. Jesus Christ. What if your lifetimes in the past really suck? You're supposed to be carrying that burden now until all eternity? It sounds like you're already living in hell. Just stick them in a med bed. That will fix everything. Thank God it's still not in the dictionary. Eck. Look at those red underlines. Fuck heck and fuck Scientology. Yes. Good day, all. Hope everyone is good. Just another day of the wife talking about crazies in the world. That about sums it up. But I don't like the idea that we've lived all these different lives in the past and that we're carrying burdens of all these lives into future lives. And then we have to like go through challenges. Go to Harold Klemp for help with them, which again, I'm not confident in that man at all. And then somehow work to be closer to God in order to actually die and go live in the kingdom of heaven. You know, it's just a very strange thought. We have a heritage much richer than a single lifetime, which explains why many children are born with a particular gift or knack for doing something. So now they're claiming that if you're a savant, for example, it's just because you got really good at it in a past life. Some kids even come in knowing a certain language, which their siblings do not. Tell you right now, my daughter's on the spectrum. She's made up her own language. I hope that's not the type of thing they're talking about. Most young kids, by the way, make up their own languages. So if that's what they're talking about here, once again, we're taking something normal that kids do and then applying it to reincarnation and Eckankar when they don't have anything to do with each other. It's a nice change of pace, and she's good at it. Don't blame the bored, blame the stupid. And then my husband says, and there is plenty of stupid to cover in the world. And then Joe says, better than her being the crazy in the world. But see, here's the thing. What if I am the crazy who covers the crazies? Ha ha! Touche! So, again, things with kids, it's like we're going to watch a video in a little while here where Harold Klemp is going to talk about like children and reincarnation. And you'll kind of get what I mean when I say like young kids imagine things. Young kids tell stories. Young kids often come up with their own language, especially if on the spectrum, by the way. Apparently that's a spectrum thing. So to like chalk that up to it meaning that child has been reincarnated from a past life, that scares me. Because again, some of it's just normal childhood imagination, storytelling. Like my daughter could come tell me that she thought that she was a dragon in her past life, right? Am I supposed to then take that and go, oh, wow, that's so true? You know? Like, no, probably not. But it's almost like if you were an Eckist, you would. And you would be like, oh, that must have been your past life. Now you must be working on these things to get to heaven in a future life. Like, it's like, what? You know? Bob would just shove a Bible into it. He would. He would be like, may the power of Christ compel you. And then he would probably hit you with the Bible, actually, all right? I still think he hit that woman that was possessed by the snake. And then he was like, do you want the sword again? I was like, see? He smacked that lady. It does take understanding of crazy to unravel. That is true. Maybe that is why I'm good at it. So again, it says, a very young child may still remember a past life and often talk about it. And this is what I mean. Like, could just be imagination. A good question that a curious parent can ask a child of 2, 3, or 4 is, what did you do when you were big? Okay, now here's where I have another problem, right? If you ask a kid of 2, 3, or 4, well, what did you do when you were big, when they're telling you about like using their imagination, telling you some story about them, right? They'll answer you. Because when an adult asks a child something like that, the child wants to please the adult. Kids are people pleasers. So they'll want to please that adult. So they're going to try and answer in a way that they think the adult wants them to answer, first of all. Secondly, kids have imaginations again. So they can come up with a story like that. So it says, don't be surprised if the child answers you in a very nonchalant way. And it's like, once again, this does not mean that it's because they're talking about an experience in a past life. They could just be imagining. You know? And so that worries me. Hello, Kim. That sounds like a fun name. I like it. But yeah, so I can just picture like all these kids, right? They have children and the children are all like imagining and like playing pretend as kids do, talking in like their own little kid language. Because when you have a group of kids that hang out together too for a long time, they'll come up with their own language that they'll all speak to each other in. And it's not like speaking tongues or something. It's just like a childlike way of speaking, if you will. Kids have their own language. Trust me. They've done studies on this. And then we're going to have like these Ecka's parents going, well, what did you do when you were big? And then being like, oh, you were a firefighter when you were big? Oh, okay. Well, in a past life, you were a firefighter. And it's like, don't do that to your kids. I wish that they would leave kids out of this, but as we know, they're not going to. So here we are. Again, what does this say, guys? A child's past life recall. Oh, yeah. Now, the good news is it comes from the mother. I mean, I guess that's good news. I mean, what I mean by that is that thankfully it's not the child that has written in to Harold Klemp, because according to him, it was a mother that wrote into him. So that's what I mean. Is it a good thing that the mom is in Eckankar and now telling her child that she has past life recalls and was reincarnated? I don't know. Like I said, that's to be decided. There are some spiritualities and religions that do believe in this. So let's find out about a child's past life. And again, while I'm reading this, just think like you're a kid and you're probably just got a big imagination. A mother wrote to me with one example of such past life knowing. She babysits a number of toddlers during the day. Her own daughter is 15 off for fuck. So this isn't even her own kid she's doing this with now. So now I have a whole other bunch of problems with that. One day, the woman found a little girl sitting on the couch with the 15-year-old. Usually this child was chattering all the time, but today she was very quiet. She was thinking. Sometimes kids just have an off day. They're like mini adults. I've woken up many a days and been like, I don't feel like doing crap today or talking to anyone. And kids are just like us in that sense. But anyway, then suddenly, without any prompting, she said to the 15-year-old, when I was big, I was in the car with my daddy. We were late picking up my sister. My daddy drove right through a stop sign and he crashed the car. I went through the windshield and lay on the ground for a long time. When I was big, though, my name was Amanda, and I was big like your mommy. Again, sounds like imagining. The 15-year-old sometimes had her questions about the reality of reincarnation. Okay, Harold, are you now going to go on and tell me that this fucking proves it? But now she looked at her mother and said, Mom, did you hear what she said? Oh, yes, that's where we're going with this. That's where we're going. The mother said, yes, I heard. In her letter, the mother said this experience pointed out for her and for her daughter that reincarnation is simply another day in the life of soul. So this Christmas, when your kid is telling you all about how they saw Santa Claus come down the chimney and leave presents, y'all best believe Santa be real, okay? Divine love in action. In action. Joe says, I was flying around in a blue box and fighting pepper shakers. What did you do in your life before that, Joe, to have that reincarnation? If someone doesn't believe they have a gift or are worth something in life, or to someone that starts with their parents, for sure, no love in the family, or was never told that they are something. Absolutely. Or it could be negative self-talk implanted by gaslighting. But there are a few out there that just don't care about anything or anyone, and it's a crazy chemical in the brain. It's called sociopathy. And I believe Harold Klemp has it. Divine love in action, though, is the next part of this book. And up here it says, how would you describe the quality of divine love? Like, what does that even mean? Whatever. Divine love in action. Reincarnation is a principle of divine love in action. Like, thank you. Jesus Christ. It allows people, you and me, in case you were unaware that we were people, to have a chance to develop the quality of divine love. What is divine love? I don't fucking know. We do this through the hardships and uncertainties, as well as the joys and the fulfillment of living. We develop the quality of divine love. We become more godlike beings. So again, divine love is just loving God more. It all comes down to that, right? Either way, it's a very low place to be, and at the same time, it's such a fundamental human need to feel that we have some worth and we produce something, or that we are of value in society. Yes, it is. And everyone has that. Everyone has that. Which is why it's easy for cults like this to prey on people. And they often find the people that want to have that value in society. They want to feel needed, feel loved, feel accepted, and they just don't. So becoming a part of something like this kind of fills that void for them, right? I mean, think about it. If you're feeling down on yourself a little low and you're questioning, what's my purpose? And then something like this comes along and says, I'll tell you exactly what your purpose is and how to get there, and give you some cool songs to sing along the way. It might be easy to fall into that. So again, divine love really just means your love for God. Life after life, you come back trying to solve the mystery, wondering how to love God, then how to love yourself. Because as is religion, you gotta love God first and foremost. I guess in my past life, I was a skinny bitch and I was born being a fat bitch. Maybe, yeah, you would have had to have been a skinny bitch making fun of fat bitches. And then karma and reincarnation were like, we're going to teach that Shaw bitch what's up, okay? She's going to learn in this life. She's going to learn. It didn't work, though, because now you react to Shanny and stuff. So it didn't work, but we'll get there, Shaw. We'll get there. Maybe in the next life, Maybe in the next life. The answer to that mystery. Again, so the whole mystery is like, what did I do in my past life and how am I getting closer to God, right? Literally, that's the whole thing. How to love God. How to love God always. How to love God. How to get closer to God. How to be best friends with God and become one with God. Auntie says this so-called divine love is imaginary love for people that don't understand what real love is. Offering it to people for money or emotional control is a predatory act, period, for sure. That's it, though. Like, for real, that's pretty much it. Especially here, where they literally, I'm going to show you guys the website after we do this book, and you'll see, like, just like with every other part of the website when we do these deep dives, they're just all about the classes. It gets really frustrating as we're going through, because I'm like, that's not the answer to anything, okay? And then we get the answer to that mystery, which, by the way, is spiritual freedom, which I always love it when cults talk to us about spiritual freedom. That's always fantastic. Fan-fucking-tastic. And the way to spiritual freedom is, guess. Oh, simply to say hew. Fucking hew all the time. With love, though. You got to sing it with love. If you don't sing it with love, you're singing it wrong. That is where you begin. Again, they literally could have just written every single book and said, you know what? You got a problem. Here, sing Hugh, and here's our courses. The end. The end. Like, that's all this is. The rest of it, you'll notice, fluff. Just pretty fluff. Even, like, the next sentence and quote. That's the doorway to a new life. A life of love. Like, really? Now I feel like I'm reading a Hallmark card. You know? The rule of karma determines factors like male or female body. Like, okay, that's weird. Eye-hand coordination. So I guess, I don't know, I have bad karma because I have awful eye-hand coordination. Long or short-term memory retention and desires. In addition, our karmic package includes race, ancestry, family, friends, economic and social standing, and much, much more. No, I sound like an infomercial. Try a spiritual exercise, healing a past life fear. At a certain stage in our spiritual unfoldment, we may be shown through dreams or soul travel a past life experience that explains a present love, hate, or fear. If you want to, I also did a deep dive on a soul travel. That was a fun one. There is a particular reason, for instance, why some people have a fear of heights. Fear has many faces. Fear is a two-faced bitch. Each face has an underlying reason. Usually, though not always. So again, like, how is this the rule? You know what I mean? Usually, but not always, though. It is based on something that happened in a past life. So thank you, a love song to God every day. Like, okay. Love dispels fear. Okay. Here's a way to open yourself to its healing powers. All right, we ready? We all need to do this now. In contemplation, visualize. Hold on, I feel like if we're going to do this, I need some like background music or something here. Hold on. Here we go. In contemplation, visualize the golden light of God coming into your heart center. Coming in so quietly and gently that you may not realize it's there. Imagine your heart center reacting like the pupil of an eye, opening gently to allow more light to come in. I'm fucking blind! There is a way you can control the opening of the heart center and the flow of light within. Ask the inner master how to maintain the inner connection with the God current to find a balance that is right for you. Discover more about the inner master, the Mahanta. Did you guys do the exercise? Did you get anything out of it? No? Didn't think so. Here we have some hearts. Like, I guess they're getting a little bit better as we go along with the art in this thing. How to sing you. Your eyes can be open or closed. Take a few deep breaths to relax, then begin to sing Hugh. Pronounce like the word Hugh in a long drawn out sound. Hugh. Take another breath and sing Hugh again. You can continue for up to 20 minutes. You'll probably have to take many breaths though, I'm just saying. Sing Hue with a feeling of love, and it will gradually open your heart to God. Experience Hue. Hue, sacred sound, ancient mantra. Every book we hear about who is Harold Klemp, the exact same thing, just different quotes. And then we get how to sing Hue, because again, the answer to everything is Hue. Did you know a higher law than the law of karma is the law of love? We have laws for love now. Eye for eye, tooth for tooth is the strict law of karma. This law is to teach people self-responsibility. It's unforgiving. Under it, people hope others get punished. A higher law is the law of love. I mean, it sounds nicer. With this law comes the understanding that indeed, what will be, will be. I won't sing the song. I won't sing the song. But the difference here is that we do not wish or expect others to get punished for their misdeeds. Instead, we give them love in return. How could you give love in a difficult situation? How does this work out in daily life? If someone cheats us out of our property, we will, of course, try to get it back by whatever legal means possible. All right, so Eckankar is good with suing. Good to know. But we will do so without feelings of hatred or anger. As long as you ain't mad. Sue everyone as long as you ain't mad. Such feelings tie us to the strict law of karma. What ways have you found to let go of anger? Nothing in here. I can assure you of that. Then we have another quote. Our mistakes in this life and post-lifetimes are the polishings of a precious gem in the rough. We got the field again. I guess that's supposed to be our gem in a rough. Really, it's just making me feel rough, trying to get through this damn book. A Knight's Tale of Karma. Excuse me. So you're thinking in your head, but here's the thing, Queen. Paul Twitchell, who began this religion, he wasn't around in the time of knights at the round table. This isn't Monty Python. So why would we have a Knight's Tale of Karma in this Harold Klemp book talking about Eckankar when Eckankar did not exist at all during that time? Yes, it was taken. Listen, okay, I needed a drink. Do you not hear me right now? So, again, we are just taking some old story, and this is what I feel like they do. They take like old stories and fables and whatnot, right? And then they retell them to make it go with Eckankar. And then they're like, there we go. That's the story. But once again, this is a part that is not written by Harold Klemp. It's written by Richard Welsh. Who's that? Who the fuck knows? We don't get told anything. But let's see what he has to say. A Knight's Tale of Karma. Did you know your past lives can be a cause for karmic challenges you have in this life? Here is how one man received an answer to his relationship problems. Again, relationship problems. These people have all kinds of problems. One autumn, I attended an Eckankar seminar. One of the features of that seminar was a past lives, dreams, and soul travel fair. In the past life portion of the fair, the facilitator shared different spiritual exercises we could use to help us remember past life experiences. One of the techniques was adapted from an exercise given by Harold Klemp called the radio announcer technique. What? The facilitator had several... don't turn on me yet! The facilitator had several magazine pictures in the center of the table, depicting people from various cultures and historical time periods. We were asked to pick a picture that... Why can't I see that? Anyway, the picture went fast, and I was left with an image that didn't have any meaning to me. Okay. I don't feel any connection to this picture, I thought to myself. I looked at the young woman next to me. She was holding a picture of a medieval knight in full armor. Do you have a fascination with historic times or practices? I recalled how I loved movies about chivalry and knighthood. Many times, I played with my brothers and friends wielding makeshift swords, like the one Bob Larson has. My fascination with medieval weaponry and armor has continued to this day. They should go to medieval times. A young woman next to me sensed my interest in her image. She held it out to me and said, "Do you want this one?" "Sure," I said, and we exchanged pictures. Then the spiritual exercise began. We were to close our eyes and imagine we were listening to an inner radio broadcast about our pictures. We'd hear the announcer's voice as he gave a summary of how the image related to a past life. Hello, I want page 17. 8, okay. For some reason, this is messing up on me. Hello! Give me my pictures! Why are you messing up on me, slides? Why must you mess up on me, slides? Well, now I can see it, so I'm not really sure what happened. I'm just saying. This wants to make me look dumb. Wait. The inner broadcast was true. I'll just start from here, whatever. My many lifetimes as a warrior had affected my relationships with other people in this life. Here was the answer I had waited for. The karmic root cause of my difficulties with relationships came from the past, but I also knew that now I could let go of those old lifetimes and learn how to open my heart to love. This was not the first time the spiritual exercises helped me unravel a mystery in my life. Through a picture of a knight, really? Just because you like that stuff? And some girl gave it to you that meant... Whatever. 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 This was not the first time the spiritual exercises helped me unravel a mystery in my life. As I thought about this experience, I was reminded once again how valuable the spiritual exercises are in helping us discover more about ourselves as soul. Yes, because everything is just discovering more about ourselves as soul, right? Lord. Then it says, our character is made up of virtues and shortcomings, and all are a development from past lives. A reason lurks in the background of every twist of personality. Each trauma from a forgotten life shapes our conduct in a given way, without exception. So if you have trauma, like abuse, right, then guess what? Apparently that's just because you were an idiot in your past life. Do you have a fascination with historic times or practices? Yeah, that's the foundation for most stories. If you don't know history, you can't write good stories about real life. True. But yeah, I hate the idea that like our past traumas, for example, are caused on us, or that we deserve them because of something that happened in our past. Like, it really bothers me. Really does. They need still to develop the quality of grace. Grace and respect are two signs of a mature spiritual individual, whatever his religions or beliefs, because again, it doesn't matter. What does being graceful mean to you? Karma works itself off by levels through the hard experiences of life, the University of Hard Knocks. It's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for us. That just pissed me off. Now he wants to be Jay-Z. A soul that completes a certain level of purification, then graduates, so we have graduation, to a higher level of choice, experience, and service. The experiences of life give you the wisdom, love, and understanding that you need to someday take a step higher on the spiritual ladder and ultimately become, of course, a co-worker with God. And look at, they even have a picture of the spiritual ladder. Oh, guess what they want you to do? Advanced spiritual living courses. Go higher, further, deeper on your path of spiritual self-discovery. What will you experience? This ever-expanding adventure can bring you personal transformation from the moment you begin. This includes monthly self-discovery courses with advanced spiritual techniques for private study, opportunities to explore the courses in small group discussion classes, quarterly letter and updates from a God-realized teacher with timely perspectives, spiritual initiations, profound steps of enlightenment, a community of like-hearted people who respect spiritual freedom and love truth, opportunities for further spiritual training and service. Start your adventure today. Eckankar, the path of spiritual freedom. All right, so once again, we got some stories. Okay, we got some stories. We have a little bit of an explanation. But ladies and gentlemen, that was an Eckankar Soul Adventures, Karma and Reincarnation Solving the Mystery. But to me, it was just building a mystery, even more so. And because of that, I was like, you know what? I do feel like I need to look into this more. Since I have some time today, I thought, you know what? There has to be some videos and stuff of Harold explaining this. We have to have some fun on the website where it's getting explained to us. 1 second. So, I have some videos that we're going to be reacting to. I also have the website and some more stories of Harold. But I think that the most important video that we should watch is where he actually explains to us, according to the video, he's explaining karma and reincarnation to us. I mean, that's the theme of this e-booklet and the theme of the stream. So, without further ado, I give to you Harold Klemp. And it might be fast-forwarded, and he might sound like a chipmunk.
I've mentioned before that children will refer to a past life.
Sometimes he has mentioned before, remember, we just saw that in the e-booklet, like I said, kind of have a problem with it, but continue, Harold.
They'll just bring it up out of the blue. Now this mother wrote to me, she said she babysits during the day, and she has a number of the little kids in. They're all maybe 3 years old, the toddlers. And her own daughter had come home from school. Her daughter is 15. Her daughter had come home, and this little girl was sitting on the couch with a 15-year-old. So the 3-year-old and the 15-year-old are just there together. And usually the little girl was chattering all the time. Chat, 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 chat. But today she was very quiet. She was thinking. And then suddenly,
Notice anything familiar?
without any prompting, she just started to speak. And she said to the 15-year-old, she said,
I am not even joking you when I tell you that this man has literally redone this story over and over and over again at these talks, in his books, and etc.
when I was big, I was driving down the street with my daddy. We had eaten dinner out, and we were late picking up my sister.
Yep, you know what, Harold? This story doesn't really prove it, though.
And many people are not at the point where they can understand this because it's not the time. They have many other things to learn that are very, very important. Not to say that the Eckists who've come further, let's say, further along the path as they think that they've solved all the problems of people around them, they haven't.
Oh, so I guess we just aren't understanding because we're not ready yet. Jesus, imagine running a call and then just telling everyone that whatever they don't understand. Like, imagine if Hashimufara, oh shit, wait, he does do that, doesn't he? Where he says, oh, well, you just don't understand. Huh, seems to be a cult thing.
But at least they've come to an understanding that there's a way out. There's a way off the wheel of reincarnation.
Yes, so they believe in a wheel of reincarnation, if you will, a whole wheel. But I wanted to show you guys, like, it's so funny to me when I am looking for videos about Eckankar. Because as I'm going through all of the videos, listening to Harold Klemp over and over again, it's just regurgitating the same stories that he has told in these e-booklets. The same stories. So I'm just like, does he not just have other stories? Does he just read this from that? I mean, it's just funny to me. It's just funny to me.
Deborah from New York tells of meeting Bill. He's a bioengineer professor.
Now, this is a brand new story. I promise. And yes, we have Chipmunk Harold again. But here he is going to tell us more of a relationship story because, as you remember, being reincarnated and, doing the whole karma reincarnation thing will also help you fix all of your relationships. So let's see if he can kind of describe that to us here.
And Liz, his 11-year-old daughter. Both had sleep disorders. Bill had trouble getting to sleep at night, and when he did sleep, he slept poorly. He was always on edge. Liz, his daughter, was a sleepwalker.
They all have disabilities. They're all vulnerable. And exactly, that's my whole thing too, Auntie. Auntie says, wouldn't that be Harold's responsibility if his little minions, some Ekis, aren't perfectly spiritually enlightened? You would think so. But like all cults, he puts it on the members. So it's like, yeah, it's my job as the Mahanta, right, the living Eckmaster here, to get you all ready, right? And I guess get them perfectly spiritually enlightened. Get them closer to God. But instead of him taking the responsibility for just regurgitating the same stories all over the place and not making any sense so no one can do anything, he goes, oh, well, it's your fault because you're not singing Hugh enough. You're not doing what you have to do in order to get closer to God, in order to have better karma in this life. So that, you know, if you have to come back and reincarnate, then you'll be closer on your journey. Yeah, they didn't give him enough money. They didn't take all the courses, right? That's the other reason why these things have courses. They fall back on that a lot. Oh, well, did you take all of the courses? Because if you don't pay for and take all of the courses, then you're not going to be a perfect Ekist. And then you'll never work your way up to being an Ek master. And then you're never going to stop the cycle of reincarnation and go to the kingdom of heaven. Gassing up his own soft-head clowns mid-story in yeah, for real though. I've always said that there's something weird about his cadence and the way that he speaks and the dramatic pauses and whatnot. And if you need more information on that, I have other streams where I don't speed him up and you can react. But honestly, in the last ones, people that had seen a few of my streams on him were like, can we please speed him up? He talks slower than Ash Mufara. So we've done that.
So here you got dad and daughter both having problems with sleep.
Oh, of course.
So Deborah told him about singing Hugh, and when he got home, he told his daughter about how to sing Hugh to calm things down. Now, Bill's belief system had been that when you die, that's the end of it. You're gone like a puff of smoke. Poof, you're gone. The life you lived here has no more significance than if someone were blowing a puff of smoke out of his mouth from smoking a cigarette. Just gone. And so this scared him. It always scared him. He wondered, you know. He said, there's gotta be more than this. But then worse, he felt, was that he was passing on this legacy of fear to his daughter, and that's why she was sleepwalking. One day Bill mentioned his sore neck, and Deborah said to him, has it ever occurred to you that it could be from a past life? You know, a lot of us have in the past had some problems with the powers that be, and in this lifetime then, you know, suffered neck pains and all the like, and wondered, well, where's that from?
See, all of your problems are from past lives, and it must be because you didn't sing Hugh enough, because Hugh solves everything.
Well, it came from hanging around the wrong places, like trees and things.
All right, who was hanging out with the trees? Harold's gonna come and get God to smite you.
And scaffolds. Or sometimes it came, you know, from the executioner's blade, you know, all those cheery things. Somehow we crossed the powers that be, and then in this lifetime, ooh, my neck hurts.
Isn't it cute? This is Harold's, like, attempt at humor.
So what does Bill do? You know, he's the one who doesn't want to pass on this fear to his daughter Liz. So what does he do? He goes home and tells Liz. She seemed delighted. For some reason, it rang a bell inside her, like she knew it was true.
Oh, you don't say. A parent comes home and tells their child something, and the child believes their parent. Amazing. Never heard of that before. Chipmunk Harold hangs out in trees. I'm like, who's hanging out in trees, Harold? Harold had no friends growing up, so he just hung out in the forest.
There was something to this past life.
Okay. A parent implanting ideas of a past life in their kid's head, that's some fucked up shit, okay? I don't agree with that at all.
So anyway, they do the hue and everything.
Oh, touche, Joe. Joe says, I was a cat in a past life, climbed trees all the time. So he was just, talking to Joe.
And Deborah said, you do the technique to sing hue when you're trying to go to sleep, just
One thing you'll notice about Harold that I want to bring up is when people lie all the time, especially if they're talking often, they really, really, really drive him out. He is like constantly licking his lips. You always see that little tongue poke out. He's like the turtle.
Imagine an open door and walk through it. And it was a good beginning because now Bill could fall asleep. At least he could fall asleep. Of course, then he woke up in the middle of the night, wide awake as ever.
So it didn't work then? Harold's story, it's Snow White with a gender flip and no little people. And animals flee in his presence. Like, it didn't work.
And it bothered him, except there was one benefit that hadn't been there before. If there was something that had been puzzling him,
Okay.
he now saw the answer to it.
Okay, so wait. So he solved his issue of going to sleep, like at nighttime when he lays down, he can go to sleep easy. But he plagued himself with the curse of waking up in the middle of the night every time with the answer to some problem or question that he had. Huh. I don't really know which one's worse.
This is something that hadn't happened before. So as I said,
He's never, ever had the answer to anything before? Poor dude.
it was a good beginning, but of course then he'd have a ways more to go. Now his daughter, she did this hue technique too. She walked through the door and she began having these wonderful dreams where she slept. She'd sleep completely through, sometimes, for hours. And it was...
What is sleeping completely through to you, Harold? Harold sleeps for 1 hour a night. He's like surprised. He's like, she slept all the way through the night. Sometimes for several hours at a time. Like, what do you think through the night means? Poor Harry's forest had no enchantments, so he had to invent them. And now we have Eckankar. Damn it!
Just pleasant.
It's pleasant.
And so the first time this happened, the father, he sends an email to Deborah and he said, it works. It works. She's having really good dreams. And then apparently Liz had a dream where she was snowboarding. She's going down the hill on a board, and she goes down and she's...
Very good, Harold. Very good. Going down hills on boards is snowboarding. Good job.
Said it was so real. It was more real than things out here, and it was just a lot of fun.
Okay, little girl has dream about snowboarding. It seems real. Must be something from past life.
Well, Deborah says, if you'd like to try to repeat the experience tonight, what you can do is do that again, but take my dog with you. Invite my dog to go along.
The dog to go along on the snowboard? Why didn't you invite the eagle? Poor Eagle's being forgotten about, but at least the dog's going on a trip, I guess.
Next morning, Deborah gets another email from Bill, and he said, Liz did just as you said, invited your dog, and everything in that experience, in that soul travel experience, was exactly the same, except your dog was running down the hill with her.
Okay. Okay, listen. What is a dream, potentially? A lot of people believe that dreams are like a mixture of what you've done throughout the day, what you think about, some things in your subconscious and whatnot that kind of play out in your head while you're sleeping. So if this little girl before bed was thinking about her last dream and thinking about the dog, it wouldn't be that weird that she would then have this like a similar dream with the dog. Again, Harold here seems to think that all dreams are soul travel. So for him, a dream isn't just this little girl dreaming about her snowboarding, on a board down a hill, in case you weren't aware of what that was. It's her soul, right? Actually traveling out of her body, and then it's actually snowboarding. So then I would then have to believe that the dog also has a soul now, and it's also snowboarding or running down the hill while she's snowboarding, right? And that's just fucking weird. Wait, I can soul travel with my dog? I mean, yeah, it's the best way to travel with animals. You don't have to worry about caging them up. You don't have to worry about, like, checking them on a plane. Why not just travel? Hello, it's a slot machine. Holy shit, think of the travel costs I could trim if I could just astral project myself. See? You're getting it. You're getting it. That's all you got to do. Bring the dogs with you. You're all good. You save on travel costs. And like I said, you don't even have to worry about how the dogs will react to the travel. Because apparently the whole soul travel thing's very peaceful, according to Harold here.
And of course, soul travel, Bill understood this, when Deborah had explained it. It's you living and being aware, in full awareness, at a finer level of existence that you already are at.
Because she went snowboarding with a dog? Okay. I guess that's all it takes, guys. To get closer to God, you just snowboard with a dog. That should be Eckankar's new mission statement.
And so this was quite an experience for both father and daughter. And the lessons were good here too. They learned to play the Hue CD. They said, that's worth it. And then they chant Hue every night.
Every night they chant Hue. I'm telling you, this thing really bothers me in terms of Hue being the main thing. Like, it really does drive me nuts. I'm like, Hue cannot solve everything. But according to this cult, Hue actually really does solve everything. So, since we are talking about karma, I thought it would be good if we read through the website as well. And I thought it would be good. Oh, we can't see all of it. Forgot. I have to do that for this part. Thought it would be good if we read through Why Bad Things Happen to Good People by Harold Klemp. It's very important that we learn this, I guess, because it's going to explain to us all about karma. I mean, potentially this is really just karma, right? Bad things happening to good people, though, That's not supposed to happen in karma. So, what do you suppose makes people unhappy? A survey would probably list 100 reasons, both real and imagined. Now, how many of those people do you think would like to hear the true reason for their unhappiness? Just a guess. Very few. The choices you've made in the past are the direct cause of all your unhappiness today. It's all your fault, motherfuckers! If this answer doesn't suit you, don't read another word. You have better things to do. Please stay at my stream and don't leave. But maybe you're one of the few people who doesn't absolutely reject the above explanation for your unhappiness. Then keep reading. Perhaps you'll see how and why individuals make bad choices. Most important, you may learn how to stop making them. We all know I need to learn how to stop making bad choices, right? So let's learn. Let's all learn together. How we get here. Soul enters this world to pursue a series of tasks, for each is an exercise in spiritual purification. Taken as a whole, these assignments make up one's destiny. To set the tone for its mission, soul enters a new lifetime with a body of strength or weakness, of great intellect or a simple mind, in a popular shade of skin or not. Is it racist? I'm just wondering. Either as a male or a female. They don't mention anything about non-binary, so I guess we all know that they're transphobic. Into wealth or poverty. Trans rights! The idea of destiny as a concept is out of fashion in much of today's Western society. People want to be captains of their own lives. They wish to run their own fate. They will shape their own tomorrows. Yet, how can they do so without a knowledge of and an appreciation for the meticulous law of karma, or especially of the law of love? In spite of all fictions about who is the master of their own fate, they cannot even set the conditions of their birth. So the rules of karma and reincarnation remain a mystery, and they find a great deal of sorrow and disappointment in the outcome of their plans. How could the stiff rules of karma include them? Many would like to think they don't. Sure of being above the common pool of humanity and thus exempt from these rules. The Lords of Karma, which I thought that there were no Lords of Karma because the only Lord is Ek, soul, whatever. By and large, though, the Lords of Karma, not the individual, select a family for each soul. They are responsible for the distribution of karma from the time each soul first enters this world. The Lord of Karma is like a minor's guardian. He administers a trust on behalf of a spiritual infant, arranging for him or her to join a family with the best prospect for that soul's unfoldment. In selecting the time and place of reincarnation, the Lord of Karma is the sole judge. He is the sole arbiter in the choice of a body, health, family, or future. The Lord of Karma alone sets the conditions of most people's fate. Placement is a simple karmic detail. The law of karma governs all such placements, and he is only its agent. The primal seed for each incarnation exists under the umbrella of destiny, which we also call past life karma. On a practical level, genetic, cultural, and social elements combine to decide soul's place in this world. For people on the lower end of the survival scale, the Lord of Karma alone chooses the time and place of rebirth. One sec, guys. Are we all learning something about karma and why bad things happen to good people? Soul follows the script. Soul then follows the script of destiny and enters a physical body. After birth, the name of the game is survival. The survival scale, by definition, is a measure of one's can-do instincts. But karmic placement does set other standards for individuals on the high end of the spiritual scale. Most of them enjoy a voice in the choice of a human body or place of birth. They sense the need for spiritual freedom, a view gained from many past lives, and the self-responsibility that goes along with the package. So these souls demonstrate creative ideas and inventiveness in their incarnations. Inventiveness is a word. For the most part, they are cheerful, upbeat people, and the rest of them are fucking sucky ass people. Spiritual gains in past lives have given them a voice in choosing some of the conditions in their present incarnation. They have earned the right. Think of destiny as the equipment, talents, or gifts that one brings to this life. They carry a divine mandate to use them for the good of all life. It's our responsibility to do so with wisdom. The idea of destiny or fate is poked fun at in many Western circles, yet it is an age-old principle of the spiritual life. What is the basis for a cultural bias against fate? People are in a state of confusion about it. They wonder, how can fate and free will exist side by side? Destiny controls the conditions at birth. Much of what an individual does after birth is an open book, an exercise in free will. To sum up, fate governs the conditions at birth. Free will allows a choice as to how to move beyond them. Free will can offset or even overcome the drawbacks of destiny, but only through the awakening of one's consciousness. One may thus reshape both his material and spiritual life. Excerpted from Eck, Wisdom on Karma and Reincarnation. Well, I mean, that was a bunch of bullshit, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Just a string of wild claims now. See, that's how I honestly do feel about this. But that was supposed to explain to us why bad things happen to good people. And I guess it's because of past lives. So it's a good thing that we also have the website that explains this to us further, you see? They actually have a section on the website that is called Reincarnation, Karma, and Past Lives. Here it is. You have lived before. Past lives and reincarnation. And if you want, I will drop the link to this in the chat right now. For people that are like, you never leave a link. I'm like, come on, it's not hard. Eckankar.org. You can't just scroll and find it. But there it is. If you want to go through it with us. Past lives and reincarnation. How knowing past lives can help you today. Which I can barely see it. It's in like weird print, as you see. Past lives helped you get to where you are today. Your job, your family, your virtues, and shortcomings all have roots in distant landscapes. Unlocking memories and lessons can help you sort through problems and move ahead with confidence. Even if the concept of past lives seem foreign, the threads of these experiences are closer than you might think. Taking the time to explore them can bring untold freedom. A past life showed me why I feared water and flying. Let me guess. In a past life, you drowned in water after jumping out of an airplane. Seeing how I died as a pilot helped me release the fear, be at peace with myself, and get back to the joy of living fully. I was close. And that was a quote by YB. At least they don't just have like Nigeria, like the last time though. Find freedom from karma. Make this lifetime count. By breaking the hold of karma from the past, you can get off the wheel of reincarnation in this very lifetime. Through initiations in Ek, you can enter a new chapter in soul's journey as a self-realized and ultimately God-realized being. A human beings. Life will take on new purpose. Move from the cycle of karmic learning to living fully in the presence of God as a vehicle for love and divine service. The Ek path will show you how. And guess what happens when you click on this? Start your Ek adventure. Guess. Just guess. Advanced spiritual living courses. Literally drives me insane. It drives me batshit insane that they're like, in order to understand your soul's journey, you need to take these classes now and also learn about your past lives. It's like, really? I spoke too soon. A dream of a past life with my sister helped me improve our relationship. I know now that some aspects of her personality come from that life, so I don't take them as something personal. Today, our relationship is one of love and support. And that came from Mexico. So yeah, for all we know, Ethan Ralph said it. I'm just saying. Try this simple exercise. Uncover your past lives. Make a list of people and things you like or dislike. That seems kind of mean, making a list of people you dislike. I have someone making a chart of mine, so I mean, I guess it's not far off. Also note, if you feel a special attraction to some country, locale, or time period in history, there is a reason for such interest. I told you guys that I was murdered by Charles Manson in the summer of love of 69. See, according to Eckankar, since I feel like I was born in the wrong time, and I should have been born back then, that was just because I was in a past life. Maybe I am Sharon Tate. Who knows? When you look at the list, what do you notice? Next, I'd be like, I notice it's fucking long of the people I dislike. I'm just saying. Next, pay attention to your dreams to see if you make any past life discoveries there. Because again, your dreams are your past life discoveries. Oh, look, we have pyramids. Lucky me. Hi, Nicole. I hope you're doing well. Lucky me. We have pyramids. We love pyramids here. Whatever your chosen religion or belief, that choice is necessary for you at this stage of your journey home to God. That's why you hold it. Your religion or belief is a valuable and important part of you, because it reflects all your experiences from past lives. Our spiritual heritage is far richer than a single lifetime could ever produce. The real reason many enter this life with a special gift or talent without the apparent need for learning it. Harold Klemp, of course. Of course it was. Speaking of Harold Klemp, he has the small expert of Ethiopia or Louisiana, which, I mean, I don't think that would be a hard question to answer, but let's hear what he has to say. It's only a few moments long, so I, of course, am going to try to play it all the way through without interrupting and blowing my top.
But as the plane was coming in, I was just sitting there and looking out at all the water of Louisiana, just water, and all kinds of channels running back and forth and crisscross and all over the place. And I wondered, I said, boy, that's a lot of water. And a young boy about 6 years old in the seat directly behind me said, it looks just like Ethiopia. And of course, his mother is trying to quiet him down because everybody knows Ethiopia isn't exactly in the middle of a marsh. And a businessman sitting across the aisle.
I'm sorry.
He said, Ethiopia, have you ever been to Ethiopia? You know, he's laughing at the boy. You know, what a dumb thing to say. All the water of Louisiana looks just like Ethiopia. What a dumb boy, you know, really dumb. But the boy said, it looks just like Ethiopia.
Okay.
And the man laughed and laughed, and pretty soon passengers in that section were all laughing, and the man repeated it again so everybody could share in the boy's idiocy.
Rude.
He said, the boy thinks this looks like Ethiopia.
This
and then
is a
everybody
child.
laughed again. And the boy was real quiet. His mother was embarrassed, you know.
Okay.
And just about when we were ready to land, the boy said, we're almost there.
Listen. I gotta interject. This is a child. We have grown adults all laughing at a child and his interpretation of something. Really? Really? If I was that mom, I would be losing it on all of you. I'd be like, grow the hell up.
And his mother said, where?
Shut up? No? Oh.
And he knew better now. He said, there. They weren't going to laugh at him with Ethiopia again. The boy was remembering his past, and the past long ago when certain areas of the world that were drier were very moist, even as the moisture is going back and back from Africa and other areas of the world right now, the water is draining away and it's coming to other places. And the boy was remembering, and he was very clear and certain. But he remembered the past, and the adults didn't. So when he spoke what was truth as soul, and the people laughed, right away, he had to shut off the creative center of remembering the past. Children, so often, and you may know it from your own children, they'll go back to the past and say, I was so-and-so, you were, at that time, you were my daughter or you were my son. And they'll go and give you a full history of what a past life was if you just have the inclination to listen to the child and not laugh as the people did in this plane. children remember probably in most cases until the age of 4 and sometimes as long as 5. And if you listen carefully, they can very often tell you about your own past lives.
Now they can tell us about our past lives as well, is what you're telling me. So not only can they imagine, or remember and tell us about their past lives, but now you're telling me they also can tell me about mine. Whatever you say, Harold. They were all laughing at a child on the plane and the mom did nothing. That's all I heard. We have some stories, of course. Then we get down here and we have a quote by Linda, who just says, "My husband and I had the same past life recall. It helped us understand how we are helping each other in this life spiritually. That understanding helps keep the relationship balanced and strong. We are grateful."
Am I in Texas?
Apparently Louisiana, Ethiopia.
Is that even a thing?
And my husband just gave me the weird, like, he just looked at me like, oh, what? Louisiana? Like, what are you on? A lot of coffee. So now, of course, we come to this beautiful little area, which we'll read in a second. I just want to come down here because I find this hilarious that it goes into this, like, at the very bottom. And I want to watch this little video here. It says, "Who am I?" The mystery of soul. Here, Harold Klemp talk about the wheel of reincarnation and the reasons we continue to come back again and again. I feel like this is very, very important. So let's hear what he has to say. And I will try not to interrupt it since it's just 4 minutes long, but I have no promises.
Many people don't realize that this lifetime is a rare opportunity. No, not so many will find Eck. Not of all the billions of people who are here. Not so many. But it's a precious lifetime for every soul who is here. We come here, in a sense, like people walking into a dark room, into a dark hallway even, where there are a lot of sharp edges. And as we come here, we stumble along, we trip over things, we bump into walls, get turned around, run into the corners of walls and things like that. And from it, eventually, we begin to look around for the light or a voice, a sound, anything to give us a clue. How can we get out of this dark place? And this is Earth. This is existence in the lower worlds. We bump around, and each bump gives us a little bit further along in our search for truth.
Okay.
No, we don't like the troubles. In fact, we do everything we can to avoid them. I mean, it only makes sense. If we can't learn from the past, well, then we're bound to repeat the past. And
damn it, I made it halfway through. So again, like, he's not wrong that if you keep making the same mistakes in your life over and over again, and that history does tend to repeat itself, but that's in your life, like, right now. I would hope that, like, that isn't the case if you're doing reincarnation. But I digress.
And I think we would like to go on to a higher class of trouble. We've come to solve the mystery of ourself, the mystery of soul, who you are.
Okay.
And it's a wonderful journey.
Says you.
Sometimes we get,
Listen, I feel like when he said before all of this, it's a wonderful journey. I could kind of be like, yeah, okay, singing you and going to some conferences and having a community, I guess couldn't be like the worst journey in the world. But now you're telling me that these people that are Ekkas are also carrying burdens of past lives, and they are having to pay for mistakes of past lives that they have to now make up in this life, and then hopefully do even better in order to get close to God. And now I'm kind of like, I don't know if this is so fun anymore. I want off the ride. It's not a fun journey. We're not going on a fun trip. It's a trip with too much work. I'm just saying, now it doesn't seem so fun, Harold.
inundated, I guess, would be the right word.
Uh-huh. That was more
Tidal
fun.
waves of life come sweeping over us. We go under again and again and again.
Damn it, he caught Shanny's crap where she doesn't pronounce G's. There's sweeping.
And we wonder, will this never end?
It won't.
Well, this never-ending thing that's going on is called reincarnation, or the wheel of the...
Honestly, it does sound like it sucks. I mean, let's be real. I don't want to keep coming back to this like freaking Earth, having to redo life all over again. That sounds like a nightmare. Are you sure you're doing soul travel and dream stuff instead of nightmare stuff? And taking our soul to hell.
The 84 goes round and round, and it happens again and again.
See, like, even the way there that he was like, it goes round and round, like the way he talks, it is very hypnotic.
And at some point, we've learned enough. We've gained the experience.
But like, what is the experiences? What are we supposed to learn? Like, you're the Mahanta, the living egg master. Tell us, master. Massa, tell me what to do.
To begin searching in earnest, searching for truth.
You are not going to find any truth over here. I'll just save you all the time.
Searching for the Mahanta, the living egg master.
That's you. I found him. Literally, that's him. I found him. Good news, guys. Good news. Thank God, right? So that explains it all. Now let's listen to Harold here doing dissolve the walls, being between past, present, and future. Now that we understand a little bit about apparently the wheel of reincarnation and why we keep coming back, now let's learn how to dissolve the walls between past, present, and future. I feel like these two things should have been switched around. I'll help you do the next website for your cult next time, Harold.
But more important, I think, even than a glimpse of the future, is to have a true look at yourself today, who and what you are here and now. This is more important than a look at the past or a look at the future, even though we in ACT know that the past, present, and future are all one. They are a continuum. The past still exists now. The future, of course, is here and now. And as is the present, they're all mixed back and forth, in and out, back and forth. But of course, in our way of thinking, with a logical mind, it's a linear way of thinking. We separate the continuum of life into three separate parts: past, present, and future. and we have built walls between them.
Um,
In building these walls, we sometimes limit ourselves to the potential that can occur through the gifts of the Holy Spirit. So,
all right, so wait, if I believe in the Holy Spirit, are you telling me that I can then live in the past, present, and future all at the same time? Because I might convert to God for that. That sounds fun.
sometime in contemplation or in prayer, maybe a spiritual exercise to try is, in your mind's eye, just see a room with 3 distinct parts. It's sort of a semicircular room, and you are at the point of the room, and the room curves
Don't
on
tell me what my
also
room is.
3 parts, and you can look into each one, past, present, and future. But there is a wall separating the 3 parts. Dissolve those 2 walls between those 3 parts and see what happens. And just do that a few nights and then just go to sleep. Say,
Okay.
I've dissolved the walls that try to break life
Dissolve the
into
walls.
parts. Because from the higher state of consciousness, you realize that life is not divided into parts. Life is all one. Life is love. God is love. And soul exists because God loves it. And if you can get this
What?
view, this overview, that everything is a wholeness, that everything is right and in its proper place at this time, then you will have gained spiritually. You will have a viewpoint on life
Okay.
that I would say is different from that of maybe 99% of the people.
Aha. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. You want to be that 1%, right? Talk about that a lot on this channel. Multi-level marketing companies. You want to be that 1%, right? Becoming a YouTuber. You want to be that 1% that's going to end up like PewDiePie. All the influencers out there want to be that 1%. And here Harold's even saying, if you go through all this shit, you do all the things I tell you to do, right? Then you will be that 1%. Because really all this is a belief system to get you to follow Harold Klemp and Eckankar, the path of spiritual freedom. Now, I'm not joking when I tell you that is pretty much it. They have some more stories and whatnot, and we are going to read through one more of them because I feel like we've heard thousands of stories. And I would really, really like to listen to the story of someone else for a change. Not Harold Klemp, but somebody else. Because I think it's very important if we're looking at a cult, a religion, a spirituality, whatever you want to call this, Eckankar crap. And we know that they have followers that believe in it and etc. I think it's also important if we listen to the followers and how they perceive reincarnation and karma and their past lives and hear it directly from them. So I have found one for us today. And I think it's very important that we try to get through this whole thing. It is called Past Life Dream Interpretation Reincarnation via Eckankar.
I dream with you. Toward the end of this video,
Sorry, I think it started a little bit late.
bring my past life dream with you.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Toward the end of this video, I'll also share a dream technique you can use if you'd like to explore past lives or look to have an experience with past lives yourself.
So this gentleman is an Eckist. And this is a true story on his past life dream. And I feel like this kind of incorporates even the dream and the soul travel stuff as well. So it kind of brings everything together, if you will.
So have you ever had a fear that seems to have no cause? Maybe a fear of heights or flying or water or maybe even a phobia. Maybe you've had an affinity for a foreign language or a particular country, maybe an affinity for a certain period of time in history, or maybe you've had relationships where there's maybe more reaction than even's called for, like you get mad at somebody or you have a boss or coworker or spouse or family member and you seem to have this conflict and there seems to be no cause to it, where it's very likely that this could be coming from a past lifetime. And the reason why we don't remember the past lives is actually a good thing, because there's something of a curtain that's drawn between lifetimes, and that's so we don't get these continuous unending memories flooding in all the time. But when there is a problem in our life, it's nice to look at this. And to be honest, I never really cared about past lives. I didn't even believe in past lives until I had the dream I'm going to share with you that helped me resolve several fears that I had. And this is where exploring past lives can be helpful.
All right, so he didn't believe in this at all, apparently, until this dream. Don't ask me how he used Eckankar to experience it. That's what he says. And you will notice that he is just regurgitating what Harold, and soon what you'll see our other buddy that created this religion, believes about this. I mean, almost word for word, this is what Harold says about past life dreams and reincarnation, right?
Make your life better today by letting go of something that's unconsciously holding you back. Now, some people get into past lives because they want to prove they were somebody important, or maybe they want to escape this lifetime. They don't like this life, but that doesn't serve us. But exploring past lives to make our lives better today is something that's a tremendous benefit. And my experience starts in my childhood. I grew up by the water, in fact, right along the shore in New England, and I was just petrified of water. I had every chance to swim, to take swim lessons, to go boating, and I just didn't like getting in the water though. And I finally, at age 19, I decided to do something about it, so I took an adult swim lesson or class at my college. And I didn't care about swimming or learning to swim, although I would have loved to have the fun other people had. I really wanted to know what was behind the fear. And after the third class, I had this dream. In the dream, I was flying. I'd learned later that a flying dream is really traveling in the inner worlds of soul.
All right, so he has a fear of water. He joins a class, and then he has this dream, and the dream is flying, and that automatically equates it to anyone in Eckankar. Whenever you're flying in your dream, you're doing soul travel.
My physical body rests. But anyway, in the flying dream, I went over this river, I went up this hill, and at the top, as I looked down, I saw this trolley track. And as I saw the trolley track, a date came into my mind.
He's got pictures and everything.
1989. And the trolley I saw on the track was a lot like this one. In fact, this might even be it. And I remember the top having some kind of fabric hanging down along the edges, some kind of ruffles or something around the edges of it. But all of a sudden, I was a little boy on the trolley, sitting, looking out the right-hand side. I was coming back from Sunday school. I was all dressed up with my sister. And at the same time, I was still simultaneously seeing the trolley track from above, like I had two sets of eyes. Well, the trolley got to the end of this hill and started to go down the hill, which was very steep, and it felt a lot like this. Well, it wasn't a roller coaster, but it felt like this because the trolley started going faster and faster, and we soon realized the brakes had given out, and then people started to scream. And this is probably where another one of my fears came from, my fear of roller coasters. At the bottom of the hill, the trolley hit this trestle, came off the tracks, and it plunged into the water, where we were thrown off. And the last thing I remembered before I woke up was going through this tunnel. It felt kind of like being sucked into a whirlpool, and I woke up. I went back to swim class, and my fear of water was greatly reduced. And soon after, I actually had the desire to go on roller coasters, to kind of get comfortable going on roller coasters. So I thought that perhaps the dream and the fact that this dream was about a fear of water related to a past lifetime I had. But what really cinched it was about 3 months later, my mother bought this book of the history of our town. And I opened up the page, and what I saw on the page was this. On the right-hand side, you'll see Wheeler's Mill, and I'll read this. Many still recall the frightful trolley disaster which occurred at this point on Sunday afternoon, August 6, 1899, when the first passenger trolley to cross the bridge left the rails and plunged 30 or 40 feet into the pond below, killing and injuring many. Now, the name of this pond was Peck's Pond, and the date was the same date as I had in my dream. And I asked my mom about the pond, where it was, and she said, oh, that's the pond up near the highway, and it's where your father used to take you to go skating. And I'd go up there and sit on the stone wall, put on my skates, walk down to the water. And she said I like to do these donuts, these circles in this one spot. And when I went back and looked at it, I realized that the wall I used to sit down to put my skates on was the last remains of the trolley. It was the trolley trestle foundation. And the place I used to do these donuts was actually where the trolley hit the water, as shown in this picture. So after that, I realized that I had lived before, that this was a lifetime I had. In fact, my mother moved to this town when she was pregnant with me. So that's my past life dream. That's the pond right there, and us skating on the pond. And now I'd like to share with you a spiritual exercise you can try if you want to either remember your dreams, get guidance from your dreams. It's called Hue, and it's an ancient love song to God, an ancient Sanskrit word for God.
Oh,
And
for
one song
fuck's
like this,
sakes.
You.
Again. So, have you guys ever heard of confirmation bias? Bias research? This guy thinks of a date, sees some images, goes and looks it up, and then basically confirms that, yeah, there was maybe an accident on that day. But for all we know, he was looking for that. I personally don't believe the story. Now, he's going to now tell us, because again, this was also from a dream, which as we know, dreams aren't actually soul travel. You're not like traveling around in the universe, but they believe that. And then now, once again, what is the answer? What is the spiritual exercise for everything? This fucking word right here. Hue. So just for fun, let's hear him sing it. For 20 minutes. Supposed to do it for...
It can open your heart to love, guidance, protection, help you remember your dreams. And what you can do is try it before bed, or even try it during the day, or out loud, or to yourself.
So see, you don't even have to say it out loud. You can just think it.
It'll open your heart.
That's how powerful it is.
To more of God's love. If you'd like to learn more about past lives and dreams, here's several books I recommend. Exploring Past Lives by Debbie Johnson, Journey of Souls by Michael Newton, and Past Life Dreams and Soul Travel by Harold Klemp, probably the world's leading expert on both dreams, past lives, and on soul travel.
Well, I mean, he is the living Eckmaster, the Mahanta.
So that's my past life story, and I'm sticking to it. And
I always believe somebody when they tell me a story, and then at the end they go, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm like, yeah, no, this guy's totally telling me the truth.
I'd just like to leave you with one thought, that you are soul, and you're greater than this lifetime, and you're here for a reason.
Thanks. That was nice, I guess. So again, some guy that's regurgitating the same belief systems and hoopla that good old Harold usually regurgitates, and basically just telling us a story about a dream he had, and then claiming that that somehow leads him to his past life belief, which again, I differ. I differ. So, one of the things that I wanted to go and look at before we watch some more videos is I have the actual good old Paul's book here. The man that created this cult, if you will. And I just want to read a little excerpt from his book about what he thinks of all this karma stuff, if you will. The karma stuff. It's all the karma stuff. I'm going to have to share my whole screen for this one, so just forgive me, please. All right. Here we are. The Eck Travelers, and trust me, I'm reading through this book. It's over 300 pages long, so maybe we could do it in chapters or something if you guys want me to do it with you. Or if you just want me to read the whole thing and then just do a synopsis, let me know, please. The Eck Travelers all say that there is no other means of spiritual liberation, only the Eck. Without actual conscious participation in the life current, the Eck, no one can escape the net of karma and reincarnation or ever become free and happy. Hence, all the travelers and saints lay the strongest emphasis upon this great reality. In fact, without this life stream, no saint could ever manifest upon this earth, and hence the whole world would sit in darkness through endless ages. No Tuzza can ever escape from this dark material world without conscious participation in and a personal relationship with this current. He must knowingly merge himself in this life stream, and upon it, he must then rise to freedom. It cannot be done in any other way. By this current alone, one is enabled to transcend all lower regions and rise to the highest heavens. By other means, men may advance a little distance toward the light, but sooner or later, they are automatically stopped. The highway to the far country is the royal road. It is the only way leading to spiritual insight and complete emancipation. This is the gospel of the life stream, and he who drinks of this stream can never thirst again. But in him is a well of water springing up into eternal life. This was the water that Jesus offered the woman at the well of Sychar, of which he said if she would drink, she would never thirst again. Truly, when one begins consciously to participate in this life stream, there is in him a well of water ever springing up, sufficient to supply the whole world. There is a fountain which cleanses him. I don't know why we need a fountain for that if water's just like, anyway. And goes on giving life to every soul who comes in touch with it. It purges, the purge, both mind and soul, making them whiter than snow. Racist. It flows on forever, a healing stream for the nations, for the races of the world. Oh, maybe they are all inclusive. And whoever bathes in it will never go about the world again seeking food for the real self. This indeed is the true light, which lights every man who comes into the world. It is the Ek, the master power and spirit, his wisdom, power, and freedom. All the great qualities you can imagine that belong to the segment. In the first chapter of the Gospel of John, it is called the Word, through which all creation came into existence. If only the Christian disciple had grasped this fundamental fact and held on to it, it would have meant a very different history for the church. You damn Christians. Unhappily, the real meaning, which Jesus had in mind, was wholly lost. And I guess it's a good thing we have Paul Twitchell here to tell us what it is. In the third verse of chapter 3, the Gospel of John, Jesus speaks of contacting the current and of actually hearing it. Then he distinctly says the new birth is attained through it. All of this is exactly in line with the teachings of the spiritual travelers. It's a pity the churches have never understood this reference of Jesus to the most important experience which can possibly come within the range of human life. To the clergy, this new birth is a mysterious operation, not in the least comprehended. In some way, it is supposed to be performed by the Holy Spirit, that which we know as the Ek. But this process is unknown to them. The travelers alone can explain this statement of Jesus, for they alone know exactly what the new birth is. The disciples of Christ were never spiritual travelers, nor masters, in the sense we know either. Had they finished their training and become one with the Ek? In other words, if they had become spiritual travelers, the whole course of history would have been different. Instead, their own teacher was snatched away from them by death before their course of development had more than fairly begun, after which the pure spiritual science which Jesus taught was soon obscured and lost. With that, among the Christians, vanished the last remnant of knowledge concerning the audible life stream. Jesus and his teachings were covered up in a mass of dogma and superstitions. Now, so I want you to remember something. Remember I told you guys that our buddy here, Paul Twitchell, when he created this, he really wanted to appeal to all religions, sorry. And one of those major religions would be the Christian religion. But then he writes a lot like this, where he's very angry at the Christian religion and he feels like Jesus was actually supposed to be an Ekist, an Eckankar, and that somehow missed the opportunity, if you will. And it's a little nutso. And like I said, we're going to dive into that more deeply in future. But what happens is they take a lot of like the Bible and they also like to turn that around now and use that in their Ek teachings. Although they claim that, like I just said, Jesus was supposed to be an Ekist. I want you guys to listen to Harold talk a couple more times, and then we are going to read one more story from the website, and that's about all I have for you guys today. I'm just letting you know because we've been going for over 2 hours now, and I know that people are probably getting tired of hearing me talk by now. I'm not an eagle.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
So let's hear from Harold Klemp. This is only 1 minute and 36 seconds, and it's how to find truth within us. I feel like this one's also very important.
Learn to go inside yourself because this is the source of all truth. There are a lot of holy temples out here, but the most sacred of all is the temple inside you, because this is where you meet with the Holy Spirit. How do you meet with the Holy Spirit? Well, if you're in Christianity, you pray. You come to the holy temple, to the Holy of Holies, through prayer. You meet on holy ground with your God. And if you're a member of any other religion, you meet through, whether it's meditation or whatever. However, whatever means you have of going to that Holy of Holies. It may be meditation, contemplation, or prayer. Go to the Holy of Holies. It's the temple inside you. This is the place where all truth comes from in the beginning. Before there were words, before there was a written Gutenberg Bible, before there was a Luther's translation, all these things as I'm talking about here, there was the Word in the heart of mankind. This is the temple. Go there. The spiritual exercises of Eck can show you how to go there.
Just go to the temple. Go to the temple, guys. It'll all be available there at the temple. It'll answer all of your problems, I guess, of the questions or anything you may have. Now, I have one more video of Harold's that I want you guys to hear, where he's going to talk about Jim's karma. Who is Jim? Your guess is as good as mine. So let's hear what he has to say about Jim and his karma, because it's important. Another story he tells often.
Show how the law of returns works in a case.
And yes, I did fast forward it. And yes, we do have Chipmunk Harold Klemp. And yes, it is fun.
Of karma with a car, which is only fitting. Karma. This is very bad.
Again, Harold's attempt at humor.
The person who wrote this in said he tried to joke with someone about karma later, but it wasn't the time or place, as he found out, because there was a spiritual lesson involved. And this story illustrates Mayberry's second law. I've mentioned those laws before. I'll mention both of them again in a bit.
Again, I think he means the law of karma and the law of love, which he hasn't really gone into specifics about, and I can't find much of it anywhere. It just means love people, damn it.
And this is the one, the second law: do not encroach on other persons or their property. Jim is the central figure in our story. He was just having one of those days. Work was one of those stressful things. Shopping was worse. The drive home was the usual rush hour thing, just impossible. And then there was shopping. It was even worse. That shopping thing, that really got him. But then when he got home, he had to find a parking spot on his street. And the whole street was parked full. And he and his wife, of course, had grocery bags in there, and they wanted to get parked somewhere near. And so here is one spot between a minivan and a car. It's just a small spot. Now Jim, he starts working his vehicle, and he's grumbling every day, and your wife has to listen to this, and she's just thinking, oh well, pretty soon she'll be in the house and working on dinner anyway.
That's the other thing. Harold's views on marriage, wife and husband, no, tell that man to go cook his own damn dinner.
Pleasant. And so as he's wiggling his way in, inching back and forth, he bumps the bumper of the minivan in front of him.
Oh, no!
Well, he gets out, looks at it, there's a little dinghy in the bumper, and he knew he should have left a note. He had enough spiritual knowledge and knowledge about how things work out here.
There was a little dinghy in the bumper? Please buy tiny dinger condoms today. Because there was a tiny dingy in the bumper.
That he knew he should have left a note, name and number, under the windshield wipers of the minivan. But he decided
He decided to do a hit and run? Well, no wonder why he got bad karma from that. Jeez.
such a day, he said, we really don't have the money now. And God only knows how much this is going to cost. And he said,
no.
well, I think I'll just take the groceries in. I just can't handle any more today. So
So he did a hit and run. Lovely. Great story on morals, Harold.
he helps his wife in with the groceries. They're upstairs making dinner. And so he's in the kitchen trying his best to be of some
Ew, I hope not. How would he reject me? I'm married. Ew. People are weird.
use, but his conscience is troubling him. It won't give him any rest. Finally, he tells his wife, he says, I've got to do the right thing. I've got to go down there and leave a note.
Okay, so he goes inside with the groceries, hangs out in there for a while, and then he's like, you know that hit and run I just did? That probably wasn't a good idea. I should go leave them a note? Is what you're telling us, Harold.
So he goes down to where his car's parked, and the minivan's gone.
Oh no! Whatever will he do?
So Jim's thinking, he says, well, maybe this is a free ride. But he knew it wasn't, because the law of returns gives no free rides.
Karma's gonna get him.
There's always paying back at some point or another, either here or hereafter.
Ha ha ha! So funny. Again, another attempt at humor, I guess.
So a few days later, he's driving his own car, and the thing starts making this funny noise, this humming sound.
Oh my! I'm gonna laugh if we find out that the dude in the van did something to his car to get him back for leaving his tiny dinger in it. I'm just saying.
Sound coming from his front wheel. So he's kind of wondering, and it turns into a squeal, and it gets very bad. He's lucky to get home. He thinks the wheel's going to come off.
Yeah, that's not good. Does he have a spare? Why didn't he just change the tire?
So he gets to a mechanic.
We need a whole mechanic here for that.
It's in the neighborhood.
Well, I mean, that's good, because I'm wondering how he got to the mechanic, you see. I mean, he was worried about how he was going to get home in the car. So now we've gotten the car home, and now motherfucker has to go to the damn mechanic. How are we getting there? I mean, it's in the neighborhood. That's good, but we're not. I'm assuming we still have to drive there, right? I mean, nothing about a tow truck has been said. I know. I don't know what it means. I mean, it's kind of true. He rejected to come stream on my channel and instead bugged my husband to stream with him. I guess.
He says, well, it's going to cost you $170, and then we can have it for you tomorrow night, though. Well, okay, one day without a car, he can get by. His wife can, maybe help him find some way to get to work and all, and maybe he has friends and some such. So that's fine.
Okay. So we did make it to the mechanic then. It's just going to take a while. Got it.
Fine. So he goes in to pick up the car.
Uh-huh.
So the mechanic is the chief mechanic. He's very...
I love how Harold has notes for this. Everything's like written down on those papers. And in a lot of his speeches, he's like turning the papers. But to be fair, I don't see him use them too often as a prompt. He seems to have them all memorized, but I guess when you're telling the exact same stories over and over again, that's not hard.
Peaceful looking man. He goes back into the office and he starts tallying up the separate items on the bill, and he's going through it.
He looks at the bill. Why did it take him so long to just say he went and looked at the bill?
And then Jim notices that there are all kinds of pictures behind the chief mechanic on the wall of llamas and other holy men.
The Brahmins and other holy men? Okay.
And also deities and so on.
Why would he have a picture of deity? That's weird.
And so he just comments on them.
Okay. Again, like, I don't know what pictures on a wall are going to have to do with any of this or with his karma, especially since we're at the mechanic shop. We're not at the guy who's, like, van he hit. That would have made more sense. I got to help Harold here write more of his stories because a lot of times they're very undone.
Make conversation while the mechanic's working, and the mechanic says, do you meditate?
Why is the mechanic still working? I thought he went there to pick up the car, as in it's done now. But okay, do you meditate? And then he was like, no, I sing you every night.
Well, Jim now wants to, he's opening his mouth and he wants to say something about Eckankar, but before he can say anything, the mechanic is very enthusiastic and he says, meditation is so important. Whatever your beliefs, meditation is the only way to enlightenment. I hope you and I will achieve enlightenment.
And he says they lack believability or relevant details, right? I feel like they're all over the place. And a lot of times it'll be like a half story.
Jim's ready to say something about Eckankar again.
Jim is not as excited about Eckankar, apparently, as the mechanic is about meditation. It's apparently the problem we're having. We're in a battle of religious wits.
But then the chief mechanic goes on. He says,
and then the mechanic talks more.
Karma is very hard. I try to stay in the center, but sometimes I sway to the left or the right. It's very hard to beat karma. Very hard.
Okay. They're
and so before,
laughing.
Yes.
They're laughing, and I don't get what's so funny. Is it just me? Am I just dumb? They laugh a lot at things that Harold says, and I'm like, okay, you know, like I missed the joke.
Very, very hard. The law of returns. So before, Jim had gone to bed the night of his accident. He had gone into contemplation and he'd asked the Mahanta, the inner master. He said, you know, I'm responsible for this. He said, I know I will pay, but please let me know when the time comes to pay that I will understand with whatever's happening that I'm paying off this particular karma.
I feel like it would have been a lot easier for Jim to just go and like knock on his neighbor's door or whatever that owned the van and be like, hey man, I'm really sorry, but this is what happened. But maybe that's just me.
And so of course it was karma with his car. And who's there fixing on his car but the car mechanic? And who would he happen to be but a very spiritually minded Buddhist who has another viewpoint, which would then get through to him, whereas a Christian one, or maybe even an Ekist one, wouldn't have, because he was so used to them.
Okay, wait, what? That was the point of this story? Really? That is not where I saw this going, but the stories of Harold Klemp.
So here again, the inner master comes forth, and those of you who have connection with the inner master will find that you have things going for you.
Only if you have a connection in the inner master, though. You guys will find that things are going good for you. Okay, so apparently the whole thing was so that this gentleman would meet a Buddhist. Like, that's very strange. So that the Buddhist could then explain it to him. See, I feel like this story would have been better if when he showed up to the mechanic, if the mechanic said like he couldn't fix his car or something, like his car broke down because he hit someone and did a hit and run, so now he can't use his own car. That would have like brought the karma full circle, taught him the lesson. I mean, I guess he could have still thrown in the Buddhist mechanic, giving him another viewpoint and explaining it to him or something, but Once again, I feel like we just have like a half story. Walk on right side, safe. Walk on left side, safe. Walk in center. Sooner or later, get squished like grape. Either karate say yes or karate say no. Line from Miyagi from Karate Kid. Of course. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. Should have given him a pack of tiny digger condoms. I mean, maybe he could have used them with the person who owned the van, and then that would have been paying back his debt, if you will. So to end this wonderful, amazing stream on Eckankar, Karma, and Reincarnation with our cult e-booklet review and a little bit of a deep dive into their belief systems, we are going to read through one more story from the website that is called You've Lived Before and You Will Live Again. That way we've read one that is about karma and one that is about reincarnation. The other ones are just random stories again, and I don't feel like they are particularly important, especially with all the other stories that I've shared with you today. But you can go to eckankar.org and you can check out the whole website for yourself. I highly recommend it for a laugh. All right. So, you've lived before and you will live again, which again, I guess I hope so. In a way. Not really, though. I don't think I want to come back here after I go. I just, feel like maybe I don't want to. Why does all this music suck here? There we go. You've lived before and you will live again. Of course, by Harold Klemp. The great benefit of the Ek teachings is that they offer spiritual freedom. Each religion holds out some promise to its followers. The word of Christianity to its people is the redemption of sin, a problem that stems from Adam and Eve, who disobeyed God in the Garden of Eden. Yet, for their error, all future generations should carry the blame. A Christian, lost spiritually at birth, has the stigma of this original sin automatically fastened to him. Original sin means inborn guilt. By contrast, the Ek teachings speak not of guilt, but of responsibility. People are where they have put themselves. How karma and reincarnation lead to spiritual freedom. The theory of one lifetime per person is an example of an immature theology, for it does not account for the fact of reincarnation and karma. These two parts of the Ek teachings put the responsibility of a person's life directly where it belongs, upon the individual. All people make their own world. Where does spiritual freedom fit into the Ek teachings? God had placed each soul upon earth to gain the spiritual purity and experience it needs to become a co-worker with God. From the very beginning, many lifetimes ago, Soul made blunders. That silly soul. It was like an infant first, having to find out how to crawl, then walk, while learning its place in the family and society. Growth and development are a natural part of the divine order. The Ek teachings say that people create karma, a debt with divine spirit, by ignorance of divine law. Time and experience will teach them better. However, it usually takes lifetimes to work off primary, daily, and reserve karma because people forget their divine nature. This forgetfulness shows up in anger, vanity, greed, and other harmful traits. The result is more karma. For that reason, we speak of the wheel of karma and reincarnation. More karma brings on more lifetimes. However fast people run, they must go even faster to stay ahead of their deeds, which threaten to catch and swallow them. Is there no end to this cycle? Soul's wake-up call. There surely is! After an individual has passed so many lives in one religion or another, since they accept all religions at Eckankar, been whipped this way and that by life, it eventually dawns on him there is no way to beat the game alone. All running gets him is more running. At this point, a change occurs. Perhaps a spiritual doubt, or maybe it's a vision, a strong and unforgettable dream, or an out-of-body experience. That experience is a wake-up call from the Mahanta, the living Eckmaster, again, in other words, Harold Klemp. From that moment on, they become the seekers. Yet, they may spend the rest of this life in the church of their youth, too scared to leave it for a path like Eck, which gives them more satisfying answers. They are still the seekers. Perhaps in the next lifetime, they will find the courage to say, "What am I doing here? What is the meaning of life?" Eckankar can show all people the most direct route home to God. Yes, there is a quicker exit from the wheel of karma and reincarnation, but most people will settle for a longer, more difficult way home. What about spiritual freedom? What about it? It is soul's final release from the law of karma and reincarnation. The Eck teachings say that to live a karmaless life, which doesn't fucking exist, by the way, one must do everything in the name of God. In the name of God! In the name of God, I speak out against Eckankar! At first, the Dream Master is the teacher. The teacher is the dream form of the Mahanta, the living Eckmaster, Harold Klemp. God has given him the spiritual power. Like directly, I'm just wondering, did he meet with God? To act as both the inner and outer master. For those who want a more direct way out of these lower worlds. A guide and way shower. He carries the key to the light and sound of God. Two necessary parts of divine love. The path of truth starts in the heart. Love is the force that returns soul to God. For the path of truth starts in the heart. And the journey home to God begins with meeting the Mahanta in either a dream or in person. The spiritual exercises of Eck give strength and comfort. For these simple daily contemplations give one a stronger bond with the divine being. We call the path of Eck the easy way. Seems like a lot of work to me, I'm just saying. So the main benefit of Eck is spiritual freedom. The entire aim of life is to find that freedom. Though the earth may shake and tremble, the person who loves God above all else will endure with peace of heart and mind. Excerpted from Eck Wisdom on Karma and Reincarnation. Woo! So that That was the little expert called "You've Lived Before and You Will Live Again." So, what have we learned about karma and reincarnation? Just more BS Hollywood mysticism. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Excuse me. We have learned that all of us are living several different lives, that we can break the barrier walls between past, present, and future. We have learned that we reincarnate on a wheel, the wheel of reincarnation, until we live life correctly. In order to live life correctly, we have to listen to everything that Harold Klemp says, do everything he says, take all of his classes, which they promote like crazy all over the place, and then we will learn how to live a karma-less life, a life with no karma. No bad karma owed back to us, I guess is what they really mean. We will be perfect human beings. And then because of that, and all of our soul traveling and dreaming and, figuring all that out, we will not reincarnate again. And this time when we die, we will finally be able to go to the kingdom of heaven as soul. But first, we are supposed to work up to being an Ek master, which only about 1% of people can be, so good luck with that. And that's what I've learned. So, needless to say, I'm still a little bit confused about karma and reincarnation, and hopefully my further deep dives will give us more information. Hopefully. So, I am going to be hanging out over the next couple days. I'm going to try my best to get a video out. If not, though, on Sunday, I am going to be reacting to more Bob Larson, as highly requested. So, I'm getting together a bunch of Bob Larson videos. I already have some of them. And we are just going to have a fun day on the day of the Lord, Sunday, reacting to Bob Larson and exorcisms. So, I hope to see you all then. Remember, take good care of your soul. Try to live a karma-less life. You do not want to reincarnate, especially as an Eckankar. And listen to Daddy Harold Klemp. And don't worry, I'm sure your soul won't be that upset that he's the one giving you all of your advice. Or maybe he will. I don't know. I guess you'll have to find out for yourself. Again, the website is eckankar.org. That's ECKANKAR.org. Go check it out for yourself for a laugh. Just remember to have a fabulous, fabulous rest of your day. And remember, don't join a fucking cult, okay? I'll see you all soon. Mwah. Bye, bitches! Ah!